Hi, welcome to the show. I'm your host, John Berti. Well, the Cinderella story is complete. The Winnipeg Fury are the 1992 Mita Cup champions. On today's show, we'll discuss this year's up-and-down season with Coach Tom McManus, GM Laurie McIvor, and player John Gasparac. We'll show you highlights of our last 3 games, and we'll talk about the future of the Fury. We'll be back right after this short break.
Imagine spending half your day just getting water. Half a day walking for your family's survival. A simple tap close to home can give women half a day and the beginning of a lifetime of change. Support USC Canada water projects. Time for change. I'm June Colwood for USC Canada, 56 Sparks Street, Ottawa.
Hi, welcome back. Our guests today, as mentioned, are Fury General Manager Laurie McIvor, Head Coach Tom McManus, and Fury player John Gasparac. Welcome all of you to the show.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Laurie, let's start with you. How do you feel? I've never seen you as happy as you've been the last couple of days.
Well, obviously, judging by my voice, I'm very, very happy. I don't have one, so it's been a great year. It's culminated, like you've already said, as a Cinderella story, and what more could we ask for?
Tom, same question to you. How do you feel?
I feel very good, obviously, John. There's been a lot of times this year it's been very frustrating due to injuries and various other things, but everything came together. People got fit. The team really pulled together, and they showed what a great team they were. And we were just glad to bring the trophy back to the people of Winnipeg.
And we're going to have the trophy for everybody to see in a few minutes, I guess. Johnny, you're from Vancouver originally. I guess you're going to be going back in a few days. Must be gratifying to you to go home and win a championship as big as this is.
Oh, definitely. It's like a dream come true. I mean, to be playing in a place other than Vancouver and to come to Vancouver to win it, I mean, there's not much more you can ask for than that. It's just a great feeling. It
is a great feeling. A lot of people never really get to feel something like that, but it's probably the most wonderful feeling you can ever feel. Laurie, what are your plans now? Are you going to take the next couple of months off and relax?
Well, it'll be nice, but there's always, so, you know, for the players it's over, but for myself and other board, there's some business decisions still to be made, and number one, which league we'll be playing in. There's some, as you can expect in India, there's bills to tidy up, and closing down of the office, I guess, and maybe have a couple of months off during the winter, but basically it doesn't come to an end yet.
Okay, we're going to talk about the future of the Fury and maybe the future of the CSL later on in the show. Tom, probably the biggest question mark in everybody's mind right now is the future of Tom McManus in regards to the Fury. What are your plans?
Well, I'd obviously love to be back here next year and coaching the Fury again. That's always been the plan all along. It's been very, as I said, there's been frustrations partway through the year, but I'm sure that we've gone over the top of that, and I feel very confident in the players we've got. And as Laurie just said, we've got some work to do over the next week. In fact, I'm out at the end of this week to go and scout the Senior Club Nationals in Vancouver, so I'll be looking again for more players, and we'll try to build on what we've already got.
Okay, great. We've got some highlights to show you. In fact, we've got highlights from our last 3 games. That includes the semifinal winner against North York, and we've also got the last 2 games against Vancouver. So we're going to start with the highlights against the North York game. If you guys want to cut in and talk about these highlights, by all means. If we've got those ready, we'll take a look at it now. Here's our first goal, and a timely run by Carlo Corazine, and he just slots it in the corner. Really nothing the goalie could do at that point, Tom.
No, definitely not. It's something we had talked about prior to the game, like both goals. Here's the second one coming in now, a very similar goal. We said they played very square at the back, except for their sweeper, who dropped back a good 20 yards. And we felt with the space in behind them, if a long ball was hit in there, that we would capitalize on it. And the first 2 goals came off that.
Here's probably the easiest goal anybody will ever score, and it goes to Mike Dodd. Really, I don't know what the goalie was thinking here, Laurie, but have you ever seen a goal like that before?
I actually think it didn't hit the sand or something. They got
yeah, I think he was expecting like for a bounce, and it never came.
Didn't occur.
And this is our 4th goal scored by Kevin Holness, and basically on a breakaway. John, were you surprised at the lack of effort and maybe desire on the part of the Rockets? It seemed like they were flat the whole game.
I think they were really nervous. They probably felt a lot more pressure than we did. We were very hungry to win. That's for sure. But they just, you could say, they just kind of choked when it came down to it. They felt the pressure, and we got a couple goals up on a couple of miscues on the defense by them. They just couldn't control it from there.
Okay, Tom, was it a lack of desire, or as Johnny says, did we just play superbly?
Well, I think there was a bit of lack of desire and a bit of nervousness, but I also think that we made them nervous, and we actually put the lack of desire in them, because we went at them right from the opening whistle and sat them on their heels. And we had said if we can get an early goal, we can really do a number on them, and that's exactly what happened. So there's not much you can say.
Okay, Laurie, we're going to talk about how this team turned its fortunes around, and really I think the credit should go to you. You brought in some quality players, not only quality players, but also players that taught the rest of us how to win and not to be happy with just a good effort. Do you think that's when the team turned around?
Well, I guess definitely like 3 or 4 players coming in. That's, I guess when you look at trades, it's always easy to pat, Tom or myself, or anybody gives you information on people and you bring them in. But there was quality players here, and I was thinking back like last night as to players that were here, and probably one of the best players defensively the whole year has been Paul Fenwick, and we pulled him in right through the dispersal draft, and very, very little has ever been said of that. But game in and game out, Paul was one of our better players. So, but then I guess a lot of mentions come to Peter and Ian and obviously Pat Onstad. So, but things are done throughout the whole year and they finally meld together. So like, I guess an awful lot is being made about some of the trades, but in actual fact, the team, they did it themselves, and the players deserve the credit.
Okay, Tom, can you add to that? When do you think the team turned its fortunes around?
I agree with what Laurie said there, actually, that obviously those 3 players helped us a lot, but we had a quality team prior to them coming in, and I think maybe what you said, John, they showed you, how to win and not be satisfied with a 1-0 loss or a tie. So I guess halfway through the year, and my honest feelings is after the last Montreal game on the road is when we did turn things around, after there was the team meeting and individual meetings and things like that. And I felt then we went to Toronto, we beat North York, we beat Vancouver, and everything went well. So I felt that was a major turnaround for us. But once again, I agree with what Laurie said. We had a lot of quality players here. In fact, I feel every player we had here is a quality player.
Okay, well done. Let's actually see the highlights of the final game 1 that was played on September 27th in Winnipeg. And that was exactly the first playoff game ever at the Winnipeg Soccer Complex. And if you guys want to cut in on here, you can too. Here we see Mike Dodd going down. This is a shot in the early going, I think. And Paul Dolan making a save.
Paul Dolan just got his hand to it and tipped it over. They saw he was off the line, so they tried to chip.
Now here's the bit of controversy on this play. And ball doesn't seem to go in. Vancouver, of course, signaling a goal, but the goal was not called.
Well, the linesman was in perfect position there. There's another chance that we had there now. Unfortunately, Tony just got his head to it, but just went wide.
Yeah, I think the conditions were really bad for this game. The wind was probably about 50 or 60 kilometers an hour. Here we go. Maybe it should have been a penalty shot there. We don't know. Here's the goal. Carlo Corsi making a good run and cutting the ball back for Tony Machida, and he just plugs it in.
That's right.
I mean, you won't see a better goal than that.
Exactly. You won't see a better goal anywhere. That was sheer quality. And Carlo shows what an unselfish player he is by doing that square ball when I think Paul Dolan expected him to shoot, and I'm sure the defenders expect him to shoot. So it was just a quality goal.
Yeah, I think Tony just got his foot on it, and basically the wind helped too.
Sure.
Took it right into the top corner, and he's jubilant. So is Marcello Paolucci there. I think we're going to see the, actually here's a chance that Carlo had in the late stages of the game. Probably took it a bit too late, and the wind took it up and over the goaltender.
That's right. He should have probably hit it as it was coming down the first time instead of waiting, giving himself a poorer angle. The only choice he had then was a chip.
Here's Ivor Evans. He's always a threat, and he's brought down by, well, he shows a bit of frustration here, and that's Phil Wilson basically bringing him down. Here's a shot by Ian Carter that just basically misses a bit, or the goalie makes a good save on it. And I think, Tom, we took advantage of the wind in this game where Vancouver didn't. They seemed to be able to, or they seemed to want to make one more pass into the 18. With that wind, it was kind of tough.
That's right. When you've got such a strong wind at your back, anytime you're in and around the 18-yard box, take the opportunity, have the shot. You know, just have a buzz at it. Don't be afraid to strike it.
Okay,
And that's what we did.
We just saw the last goal by Kevin Holness, and that made the score 2-0. But I don't know if we're going to see it again. But basically, again, it was set up by Carlo Corsi. He passes it over to the left to Kevin Holness, and he makes no mistake. You know, really two good goals.
They were very good goals. Both were quality goals, taken very well.
Laurie, a well-deserved victory.
Oh, no doubt. The team played really, really well from the first minute to the last minute. So they were prepared to play, and it was a great win.
John, blistering conditions. Have you ever played in a game that was that cold and that windy? It was
No.
basically blistering conditions.
Could never remember a game that cold. That was something different.
Yeah, Tom, two great goals. Bottom line is that we took advantage of the wind, like we said before.
That's right.
And Vancouver didn't seem to know how to play with those conditions, and they seemed lost throughout the game.
Yeah, but again, I'll give credit to the players because they went out and they took it to them. Even when the wind was in our face, we played it the way it should be played, into the wind, particularly a strong wind like that. And we knocked the ball around, and we just unsettled them right away. So it was, the guys were absolutely fantastic.
Okay, we're going to see the highlights of our last game that was played a couple nights ago. And final score here was Winnipeg 1, Vancouver 1. Goal scorers were Steve Miller and Dale Mitchell. If we've got those ready, we'll go on. We don't have them ready? Okay, why don't we take a break at this point, and we'll be back as soon as the break is over, and we'll show you highlights from that game. Okay, we do have the highlights. We're going to talk about it. Good crowd on hand, Laurie. 6,000 people, I think, was the attendance that they talked about.
Yeah, it was a great crowd, and it was noisy, and there's, that's part of the game, and right now is the atmosphere in the game. And it would have been nice to have 6,000 here, but the weather conditions and Mother Nature went into it.
Yeah, we just saw two good chances by Winnipeg, and I think we surprised them, Tom, because we took the game to them in the early going before they seemed to take over the tempo of the game.
Yeah, we did, and that's exactly, again, what we spoke about prior to the game starting. And there was a very good goal by Dale Mitchell. He just dipped it. Unfortunately, Pat was a little bit off the line, but it was a superb goal.
Yeah, we're going to see it again.
We had 2 or 3 chances prior to this, and that was in the first 2.5 minutes of the game. So we definitely didn't go and sit back. We went to the game plan and did it.
That one run by Marcello Paolucci probably should have been a penalty shot. Maybe because it was so early, I think the referee didn't call it.
That's possible.
Here's another chance by Dale Mitchell. He seemed to get a lot of chances early in the game.
And he really rose to the occasion, didn't he? I mean, I thought he was very quiet in the first game here. But when we got to Swangard, Dale was probably the most dominant player.
Here's Guido Tototo, who really hasn't started many games up until this year. And really, he's filling in for injured striker Dominic Mobilia. But he played well this game and had a lot I chances.
Yes, he did. Dominic's, again, it's unfortunate Dominic's out, but our players shut down Dominic early in the season, so I really don't believe it would have made a lot of difference there. And Guido came in, and Guido just did a great job. Again, he's a quality striker.
There was Ivor Evans again with another shot, and he's showing his frustration. Here's a good header, or a good shot by Paul Fennick, basically stopped by one of the defenders. Here's a shot by, I think, Dale Mitchell again, and he didn't get a good wood on it, and basically sailed wide.
To mark him, wins it, gets it by Catlett, still in control.
Good layback again by John Catlett, but defenders played them well.
There's a shot by Tony Machida that goes wide of the net. A lot of chances in this game, not too many goals, but a lot of chances. There's another one by Guido Tototo, and a good timely save, I guess, there by one of our defenders.
Yeah, that was an offside call right there. John Catlett was offside on the kick, so, and there was really no complaints. Everyone knew it prior to the whistle being blown.
Okay, here's a good chip by Marcello Paolucci to Ian Carter, but unfortunately the ball ran too quick for him. Here's a bit of a mistake by Peter Sarantopoulos. I don't think you see that too many times, but he tries to lay it back to our goalie and almost cut off by Guido Tototo. Shot by John Catlett and Ivor Evans going in. But again, our defense came through.
Toto calling wide right. Holness is over to Mark for the Fury. Now McDonald makes
There's
a
another
run.
shot that goes wide. Maybe if the wind would have been as hard as it was the game previous to this, would have helped.
Headed away. Carter goes.
It probably would have, and some of the crosses they were doing may have helped them out. But again, you know, we took advantage of it. We weren't going to sit back. We knew all we needed was a draw. We weren't sitting back for it. We said we're going to attack. We're going to make it entertaining.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that's what we did.
This is in the second half now. Mike Dodd makes a great run. I've never seen a shot like this curl so much. I mean, that ball was labeled, but at the last minute it curled wide.
That's right. Yeah.
Hook to the far post. Catlett.
Good save by Pat Onstad.
It's one of the best saves I've seen this game, and Pat Onstad really on the ball.
Played through. Carter.
There's Ian Carter again, just basically heading the ball over the net.
Great counterattack this is as Evans has sprung out now on their
Ivor Evans with one of his patented runs, I guess, but not a finisher.
Now, Kevin Holmes got back well there and pressured him. Here you see Guido taking one of his corners. He whips it so hard. There's so much spin on the ball the way he runs at it. It really creates difficulties for everybody in the box.
Okay, not much happening there. And this is our goal, I think. It comes with 3 minutes left in the game. Good cross by Kevin Holmes, and Steve Miller right on.
Superb finish. And if you look at Paul Dolan standing there, he was glued to the ground. He couldn't do anything. Couldn't react to it. It was superb goal. Great cross. Great finish.
You can't help but go crazy after a goal like this, and we certainly did, and we certainly celebrated. That was probably one of the best goals I've ever seen. It came at a timely, well, it couldn't come at a better time.
There again, I think Steve Miller really showed his leadership. You know, team captain, came out of the back, got himself forward, knew we needed the goal, and he did the business for us. So again, all credit to Steve Miller for taking the initiative to get there.
We're going to see it one more time. It's a goal that you might never see as good a goal again. Basically, everybody congratulated Steve on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
A month ago, his team was dead.
And this is near the end of the game. In fact, the last minute, I think Vancouver with probably its last chance, and it was a quality chance, but again, our defense came through, and the ball didn't get through to the net.
See how far up Paul Dolan's actually playing now. He's pushed himself into our half.
It doesn't really matter if you lose 1-0, or I mean tied 1-1, but there it is, the end of the game, and everybody's congratulating.
Right, the celebrations have now started. You guys were great.
There's you, Tom. Happy.
Yep. Been a while, eh, John?
It has been a while, but there we see some celebrations going on, and those celebrations went on for the rest of the night, let me tell you. There it is, the Mita Cup, and in fact, we've got the cup in front of us now for everybody to see. This is what we've been playing for the whole year. Johnny, how does it feel to win something like this?
It's almost indescribable. It still really probably hasn't sunk in totally yet. I mean, it'll take a while, but you can enjoy it for the whole winter, I'm sure.
Yeah, we will enjoy it, and you know, I'd like to personally congratulate Ralph Cantafio on this. If there's anybody in town here that deserves credit, he does. You know, players have come and gone in the 6 years that the Fury have been in existence, and Ralph has been there all along, and he's probably taken all the criticism through the bad years. But anyways, I think finally Ralph can have a little bit of satisfaction, and Ralph, this one's for you. Anyways, let's take a break at this point, and we'll be back with our guests right after this short break.
Do that for the rest of your life?
I have no choice.
Exactly. Most jobs need high school.
You're telling me.
But that's where you can get choices. Here.
Where'd you get this?
We got this number you can call.
For a free booklet on career planning, call 1-800-461-2525. Your future is your call.
You know what I always wanted to be?
A Government of Canada initiative.
Okay. Hi, welcome back. We're going to talk about the future of the CSL for about 5 minutes here. And Laurie, there were some meetings that were held in Vancouver before this game that we just saw highlights of. What was discussed at those meetings?
Well, basically what was discussed is the future of the CSL. Just put it bluntly, I guess. It's come time, we don't want situations like last year. There's an awful lot of cities want into the CSL, but basically what's being told to them, it's time to put up or shut up. If they want, we want to see a $25,000 in bond, and then we know exactly what the route of the CSL is next year. And for the Winnipeg Fury, they're keeping an open door into even going into the APSL. I guess on our minds, it'll be a business decision. What's best for the Winnipeg Fury? We unfortunately heard on the weekend that Vancouver will definitely be entering to the APSL, which it's a serious loss, the CSL. But at the same time, people have to take note that this has opened the doors to Kelowna and Port Coquitlam, who both want into the CSL. And so, you know, I guess you could lose on one hand and gain on another, but there definitely will be a CSL. There should be no doubt about that. You know, there's always a speculation the CSL is going to fold and all that, but it won't. There's East and Western teams want in.
Okay, Tom, where is the Fury going to play? Obviously, from a exposure point of view, the American League would probably be better. And you know the Americans are going to do a good job of exposure and maybe even a TV contract leading up to the '94 World Cup.
Yeah, obviously from the marketing side of it, I suppose the American side would be better. But I think from our side and for the Canadian soccer side and for the young kids coming through the game, personally I'd like to see it stay within Canada and the Canadian Soccer League. You know, we've got young players coming through that deserve to be playing professional soccer. They may not get the chance if it becomes an American Professional League. My biggest fear is it becomes the way of the North American Soccer League, and they start bringing over players, imports that are really past their prime, and paying them, you know, reasonable dollars that should be going to the Canadian product. We've got a lot of very good Canadian product here, you know, and to have maybe the 2 imports or 3 imports at the most, I think that's fine. I don't think we really need to go to 8, 9, 10 imports. So I'd like to see it stay in Canada, but obviously the Fury's going to play where there's going to be a league for them.
Okay, John, from a player standpoint, where would you rather play? I mean, traveling is going to be done either way. Maybe from a fan standpoint, we'd rather play in a league that includes some cities in the United States.
That might just be the thing to do. I mean, the competition, you know, is going to be very good, and that's something you always look forward to as well. But you could be right, playing against American teams might be the way to go. But the CSL is still not something that should be overlooked. It's just sort of a toss-up right now when you look at it.
Okay, Laurie, it's been talked about a $100,000 bond to join this American League. Does the Fury have the support and the budget to be able to join an American League?
Well, there's going to be an important board meeting within 2 weeks. We're just waiting for Aidan O'Brien to return from his holidays, and we're going to be sitting down and looking at all the issues. Number one will be the financial implications of what would have to occur to join this APSL or NASL, whatever they wish to call it. So to say, can we or can't we, personally, in knowing the people that I know on the board, I would say yes. And it's just going to be a matter of whether we wish to or don't wish to. You know, and getting back, you know, there is a 2 import rule in the, so their budgets aren't that much exceeding ours. They spend a lot of money in advertising, you know, that we don't have to. I guess the other thing would be, you know, it's going to come down to the business decision. You know, that's, you know, what's going to be good for the Fury. That's the route they're going to have to go.
Okay. This brings us to the end. A special thanks to all my fellow players. After what we've just been through this whole year, this week is going to be a letdown. But the memories will last forever. You guys are the greatest, and we'll see the rest of you in 2 weeks when our next show airs.
Yeah, so what? 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 Am I? Oh,